I'm really a bit kind of, I should say, maybe beside myself a little bit here. And I think anybody with any type of normal, or I would say rational type of thinking, will actually kind of really agree with me on what I'm going to actually sit here and talk about for just a little while here. But I actually was on Facebook a couple of days ago, and for the most part, again, we all use Facebook every day on a day-to-day basis, to check in, to see what's going on in our environment, our communities, and whatnot, and maybe just to do maybe a little bit of chat if you have a little bit of time. But I was actually sent a link from someone, I guess, I don't know, uh, regarding, they were saying that there was some sort of video that they wanted the folks to check out, and I'm actually a bit leery, on things like that, because with internet scams and everything like this, I don't really click on everything that is sent to me, or suggest something that I would view. But again, this came from actually a trusted source. So I actually, and that's again one of people in my social circles, but I rarely really talk much with them. But they said you need to check this out, and I'm like, I'm not really into looking at type videos and everything, especially when I'm in the middle of actually doing my normal day-to-day business. But I said, what? Since it came from them, I'll go ahead and check this out. Who knows? It might be something that's maybe interesting or worth watching. But when I actually looked at the link to this video that was actually placed on YouTube, I nearly fell out of my seat. Needless to say, I did not finish looking at the video because I did not want to, and the mere fact of pretty much of what I was actually what was actually being done and portrayed, it sickens me. It not only sickens me, it actually it really it had my stomach like almost like doing cartwheels, and I never felt that way in a long time, a very long time, and I really was taken back. I was for the first time in a long time, I was actually speechless. And I know I love to talk. I like to educate. I love that type of stuff. But for the first time in a long time, there was nothing that I could do but hang my head in complete and utter shame. It's getting to the point where we used to look at this as a minor issue, something that we would ridicule, make fun of somebody who actually indulged in that lifestyle, that sort of thing. But now it's actually getting to the point where it's actually reaching epic pinnacles where it's becoming very dangerous. And for the most part, in a sense, I'm actually glad that I did look at the video, even though I refused to watch. The only thing I did is I watched maybe a couple of seconds of the video, and when I got the gist of what it was, I turned that thing off. I'm like, and I had to respond back like, wow. That's all I could say is wow. Not some sort of wow and that's a good thing, but wow. I cannot believe how far we as African American men, young African American men, the black community, are going and the direction that we're heading. One thing that I actually have to say is that, and I don't like to actually point the blame or point the finger, but one thing about it is that I do believe in actually attacking something at its very core to see, to let the community know the reason why we're actually seeing this type of stuff. And and the sad part about it is that this type of behavior, this type of issue, this type of junk, this type of trash is actually being praised by a lot of black youth. And the sad part about it is that you have a greater number of males, black males, that are applauding this type of behavior. You have the females that are in there too saying, that they are clapping it up too, because it's like they are wanting to see the black man turn into this effeminized being. It's already done went past the clothing, with the tight pants and the skinny jeans and everything like this, the earrings and all this other type of stuff, and the lip gloss and stuff. And so now it's like the men are actually really wanting to be women. And it is really a sad and a scary thought that we have gotten to this point where we just really don't care anymore. And the thing about it is that, and I keep saying this, and the sad part about it is that people are not listening. People are not really understanding what's going on. And the fact about it is that if you're going to talk about this issue, we need to talk about this issue and really have open and frank discussions about this, because this right here, this is done. This is it. It's like I'm afraid to see what's going to actually happen next, because really, to tell you the truth, you would be used to actually seeing videos like this, sad to say, with men pimping women like this. But you have a young, I guess, up and coming gay rapper, Young Blood, or whatever his name is, I don't know. But I actually clicked on the link, and it directed this to this video. And I don't know if he's up and coming, he's new or whatever, how long he's been on the gay scene, you know, rapping and stuff. But, and of course, he's not the first gay rapper. But when you actually sit up there and see them openly displaying this type of stuff, it's disgusting. And the fact about it is that you have men that are, twerking in booty shorts. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. But what I want to do is I want to actually talk about what's going on here and why this type of stuff is going on. And the fact about it is that instead of us sitting up there shaking our heads, we really need to really grab a hold of our households and really sit down and really understand and really grab a hold of our youth and talk to them to let them know that, hey, this is not what men are supposed to be and be, you know, involved in. One of the main things, and I'm pretty sure that we've seen here on YouTube many times before, many times before, is the absence of father figures in the household. You know, it's not a topic that garners, I guess it depends on the person who's actually saying it as far as how many views it'll get. But one thing about it, that you have many type of people, many type of, you know, big time names here on YouTube, and even in other social media resources, that are talking about why the black community is going down in a hell in a handbasket. And the sad part about it, and the main part about it, and what we have to wake up and realize and understand, is that the reason why we're actually starting to see more and more of this type of buffoonery is because fathers have either been forced out of the household, or they have just chose to just drop their responsibilities and simply walk away from the family unit. And the sad part about it is that even though females do suffer the repercussions of it, and they actually suffer it in a different way than men do, the fact about it is that I think, in my opinion, that it really affects young boys a lot more than it affects young girls. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, the young girl is actually going to, you know, feel heartbroken. She's going to go out there and try to find love in reprehensible ways. But one thing about it is that the mother is there to actually grab a hold of the daughter and teach her that, no, that's not where you find love. I can teach you, let me teach you how to be a respectable woman. See, a man does not have that when the father chooses, for whatever reason, to not be there, or if he's forced out of the home. The only thing that he actually has to grab a hold to kind of, I guess, give him some sort of what a man is supposed to be, is social media. And the things that are actually being done in social media when it comes to the young African American male, what they're showing them, what they're turning into, is ridiculous. And one thing about it is that these young folks, these young minds, are still not fully developed yet. They grab a hold to the first thing that they see that's popular. And it's already bad enough that you have a lot of men that have effeminate ways, that behave in feminine ways, that have these feminine gestures and all this other type of stuff, you know, and loud and flamboyant as the, I don't know, as the day is long. You have now this that is now going in and attacking the mind frames of the young black men. And it's a shame. And the sad part about it is that the grown men, the ones who are walking away, are turning around and looking at how their walking away is affecting the young folks. And then they're actually wanting to know, why do you actually have a greater percentage of black men that are now turning into, I guess, more masculinized women? At least they look like a man, but they behave like women. It's the fact that there is no father figure, there is no male influence in the home. And when there is no male influence in the home, when there's no one there to teach these young men that, okay, look, this is how you need to, this is what a man does, this is how a man is supposed to behave, this is the responsibility of a good man. See, that is not going on. These type of discussions are not happening in the household because, number one, you can see it because now you're starting to see everything that a black man does is gravitating towards drama, arguing, wanting to kill someone, wanting to go out there and, and argue with someone just because they have a different viewpoint than they do. Those are effeminized traits. But now it's actually going over now and crossing over into now a more dangerous territory, which is these ridiculous videos. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. And when I actually saw this, like I said, I really almost flipped out of my seat. And I just had to hang my head in utter shame because I would not believe that I would see a day when you would actually see young men doing all this type of stuff, behaving, in such whorish, feminine ways. Now, not only does this video actually portray these, this as being, the accepted thing for the new young black man, it also, encourages sleeping around. And the sad part about it is that you would not believe how many likes this video has gotten on YouTube. And see, right there within itself, that right there is a scary thing as well. We already know that disease, herpes, AIDS, HIV, all of these type of things have skyrocketed in the black community. But again, I don't see nowhere, I don't see classes being held, I don't see workshops being done, or if they are being done, black folks are not taking the opportunity to go in and attend these workshops to let them know that, hey, we are here to better your community. See, one thing about it, black folks do not value their communities, for the most part. They don't. If they don't value their households, you know good and well they're not going to value their communities or their seeds, for the most part. And this here is very well documented evidence of that fact. You cannot walk away from this and turn your ears to this and, and just shrug this away. Because these type of things here lets you know that black youth are in danger. Black young men are in danger. It's a crisis. The African American community, in a sense, is in crisis, but it's more of an attack now on the young black minds of these young men. It's teaching them that, that it's okay to be this, it's okay to be that. It is not okay to be putting yourself out there like this. And then the thing about it is that you get accolades. You want the accolades and everything like this because anytime you see something like this, you're going to have some full-blown idiot that's going to grab a hold and like this and begin to share this ideology, this belief around as if, it is something that black folks, young black folks, should actually grab towards. I cannot believe this. I don't know how much more I can say this. I cannot believe that someone would actually produce or actually make something like this. All this further goes to show us is that the black community is starting to become one corrupt race, one illogical race, and a race that is easily gullible. Especially, after seeing this, we can easily be transformed to be anything that society wants us to be, as long as it's quote unquote hip and cool. I mean, like I say, this is just this is just a travesty. I don't know. I don't understand. Like I say, I don't really dabble that much into stuff like this that deep. I mean, but this is actually something that's worth talking about. There needs to be more men taking the stand and actually fulfilling their roles in the household. This here is proof positive evidence that black men are leaving their responsibility and going out there and saying, I don't care, I just want to be a player, and just leaving their seeds bare. And next thing you know, it's going to be another generation that's going to be raised to carry on that particular attitude. If they don't turn out to be overly effeminate, then they turn out to want to be thuggish, wanting to prove their manhood, which is something that wasn't given or taught to them, so they have to go out there and improvise. And when they go out there and improvise, next thing you know, they're going to be either dead or in jail because folks these days are not having it. They don't understand. When men walk away, you damage the black community. When the older folks walk away and don't want to value their seeds, it causes a havoc. It causes a curse on the black community. And I don't understand. Black men these days, they're not seeing it. The only thing they want to do is just get in and get their sexual desires fulfilled, and that's it. And they just check out. All throughout then, I mean, it's like a shift, a cultural shift in the mind frames of once what was, to be known as black men, and what it's becoming now. And it's shameful. It really is. It really is. I don't advocate hate. That is not what I'm saying. I am not about that. If anything, I am far from it. But one thing about it is that we have to nip this thing in the bud. And we have to come together in love and unity and figure out a way on how to attack this problem. And it's a problem that is eating up, and it's like taking over the black population, like the young black men population. It's taking it over like in droves. It's like the plague. And the sad part about it is that when you speak up against this trash, and when you speak up against it until, okay, you start to really hit the nail on the coffin and start issuing cold, hard truths, then someone wants to get upset and saying that, oh, you're infringing on my right, you shouldn't talk like that, God loves me. I never didn't say that he didn't love you. I never said that. But one thing about it is that when God created man and woman, he expected for man to behave and act like a man, and a woman to behave and act like the woman. The reason why we have this thing here, and it can get biblically based too if you want to get that way, but the reason why we actually have this type of issue going on in our community is because things have gotten out of order. Things have gotten out of order. Things have gotten an array of what God's original design was for man and woman. Things have been allowed to, be in the household that shouldn't have been there, and things that's supposed to be there have been taken out. It's like there's a substitute now for what is supposed to be in the home. And what's supposed to be in the home is a man and a woman raising their children. Not single mothers raising children, not single fathers. It's supposed to be both. As they say, the nuclear family, both parents there raising their children, bringing them up to the best of their God-given abilities, bringing them up in the nurturement and the will and the way of the Lord God, our Savior. But one thing about it is that when you ignore, you push aside, you don't value what's there and what's supposed to be, you best believe something has to come in and taint and corrupt. And this is what's going on. When the man steps out and says, you know what, this I did not sign up for this, then you know what, you never should have slept around. You never should have gotten somebody pregnant. You should have kept it in your pants. If you know you didn't want to be a father, you should have did that. If the woman knew she wasn't ready to be a mother, she should have kept her legs closed. But people go around and don't value their bodies. They don't value themselves. But yet still, in all of that, the worst thing you can do is walk away from what you have created. And this issue, you cannot ignore this. You're going to have to deal with this. Society is going to have to deal with it. We have no choice now, because every day you're seeing someone young black call themselves coming out of the closet, and they, want to be seen as equal. Never said that they weren't equal, but one thing about it is that they are going at this thing aggressively and wanting to make people accept that. And one thing about it is that you cannot make me accept anything if I don't want to. And I don't accept it. And one thing about it is that these men who are going out there having these bastard children, they need to go up there and take responsibility of their seed. And I guarantee you, when you see these men stand up and take responsibility of their seed, you will start to drastically see a shift in the behaviors of these young men. That's not to say that you won't see any young gay black men, because we see far too many of them now for them to just be completely wiped off the face of the earth. But you will actually see a shift, a cultural shift, where men will start to pull up their pants and wear a belt, where they will lose all of this thuggism and everything else and behave like responsible, productive citizens of the United States of America. This is just plain out foolishness. It's embarrassing. This is an embarrassment to every black American. That it should be. I'll put it that way, because you have a lot of them that still maybe get a hard on just looking at it. It's appalling. It's shameful. I am at a loss of words. Black community, we have to do a better job in maintaining and policing our own. Men need to step up and value what they have made. Sure, you have people that go and have sex. They don't intend to make a baby, but hey, it happens. What the men need to do is stop being punks and stop running away from their responsibility. Stand up and own up to what you're doing or to what you have done. The women are there, they're raising the children, but one thing about it is that, again, the young boys, the children that they're raising, are only looking at life from one aspect, and it's the mother, the maternal aspect. And that's not the way it's designed to be. The man needs to be raised so he'll know how to raise his offspring when he gets old enough to start having babies. We've gotten all of our priorities all out of whack, and when we get our priorities out of whack, this is the type of craziness that we're going to have to confront. And you can't run away from it, Black America. You can't run away from it. Because it's busting its doors down, coming out of the seams, out like you would not believe. And it's really trying to choke the very last life, breath, or anything out of the black man. There has to be folks that actually have to stand up and say no to this junk. We sit up here and post videos going in on everybody about how they don't like somebody's viewpoints and stuff, wanting to argue. Why don't we make a video about stuff like this and share that? And let America know this is not what black men are or what they are supposed to be. It's time for the black men to stand up and do what they're supposed to do and get their behinds back in their homes and raise these children. Or if they don't have access or they are not allowed back in the home, at least hang around, I don't know, do something, some sort of way to get a hold of these children so you can be in their lives. And stop letting the white man keep you out of that home. There's still a way for dads to see children even if they're not allowed in the home. You have what? Visitation. You know, time sharing. All of this type of stuff. There are ways that we need to, I guess, to grab a hold of to combat this problem. This is a crisis. This is a crisis. And when we say the word crisis, that means that it's an epidemic. It's something that has just taken over. And it's becoming now where it's something that really is not easily, I guess, able to control. And really, to tell you the truth, it's like every day, this issue is getting bigger and bigger in the black community. But I still stand by my words that if the black men stand up, man up, and take care of the responsibility, put that male influence back in these homes, get it into those young men's lives, I guarantee you, I'm not saying that you will be able to change every young black man from being effeminate to masculine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you will actually give them something to think about. Something for them to consider their ways. To let them know that, you know what? This is stupid. This is not what I've been made to do. I'm a young man. I'm better than this. Alright? That's my rant for this. Peace out, folks.